completed his schooling from St. Xavier's Ranchi and +2 from DAV Ranchi, where he achieved the highest All India CBSE score in biology, which reflects Sir's innate inclination towards medical sciences. Then Sir completed his MBBS, that is Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, and MD Latin, that is Medici Doctor, in Radio Diagnosis and Imaging from Pune, topping the university examinations. Okay, due to Sir's deep quest in spirituality along with his medical studies, he completed various international certified courses in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, that is NLP, by Richard Bandler, Heal Your Life by Louis A., Mind Map, and Fast Reading by Tony Buzon, Sound Therapy, Graphology, Nutrition, and so on and on. At a very young age, that is at the age of 35, Sir became a professor and also HOD at the radiology department at High Tech Medical College, Rourkela. Yet, he has publications in various national and international journals. He has also authored a book in radiology by Lambert Publications, Germany. He has given seminars on various topics of science and spirituality in various medical and engineering colleges all over India, including IITs and NITs. He has addressed officials in various corporate companies like Infosys, Cognizant, Tech Mahindra. And post Corona, post the Corona outbreak, he is working towards digital spirituality entrepreneurship for serving the nation and educating the society at large. So we are very lucky to have Sir with us. So I hope you're all as enthusiastic and excited as I am to hear once again from Sir. So Sir, we welcome you once again. Can we have a huge round of applause for Sir?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So Aman, thank you for that nice introduction. Welcome to all of you, and I would request Aman to give me a gallery view so that I can see all of you before we can start off for today's evening session. So kindly give me a gallery view, and all of you just give me a thumbs up so that we can catch up. Yeah, so thank you very much. Liking all of you. I'm not able to take the names. Sorry for that. There are a good number of participants. And if I would have been in front of you, kindly switch on your videos, all of you, for 2 minutes. I would like to see all of your videos on for 2 minutes, and then you can switch it off for saving the data. Thank you very much. We have a total of 145 participants from many different colleges all over. And today's session is a very, very important session. In fact, since it is the session number 4, it is right in the center and in fact the most important session. And I will be going to my screen share and start sharing the screen. So today's topic is very important, and it is the science of the soul. So I would like to start with a very important story. There was a very important person in West Bengal whose name was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Since he was a great personality, once he was called by the British officers for an evening party. And because he was a traditional Indian, he was wearing the traditional Bengali dress of dhoti and a kurta, and he went and the watchman stopped him. Sir, who are you? Not allowed. Dress code not allowed. Please go back. And he was kicked out from there. He went back to his house and he wore a beautiful suit, a blazer, smart looking gentleman, and then he came and he was given a warm welcome. So he did a very interesting thing. When he went inside, when the plate of buffet food came in front of him, he started feeding his coat. Cow, have it, have it. And all the British officers felt that, has he gone mad? So he just smiled and said, well, I'm not the important person, because I was the same person who came before. But since the dress was more important than me, I'm feeding the dress because that is what given more important in this party. How many of you could appreciate the story? Start why in the chat box, and I will explain to you in today's session. Please type why in the chat box. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Saundarya, Vishkar, Chirag. You all are intelligent, and because you have heard some basics, you could understand. So today is the most important session, and that's why it's kept right in the between. Just like, you know, in a sandwich, the butter is in the between. In the Bhagavad Gita, the important shlokas, the essence are again in the between. Okay. So what is the science of the soul? As I told you, the most important question, the Athato Brahma Jigyasa, to ask us, who am I? What am I doing in this world? And the most important question which the big philosophers have tried to answer is that I am matter or I am spirit. What are the 6 changes in the living body? Scientific proof for existence of antimatter or spirit, mechanism of reincarnation, difference between soul and God, and what are the practical benefits of the knowledge of soul in everyday's life. And today's session is a bit long, and I will give every one of you a chance to ask the questions. But as long as I'm with you, please stick on, hang on. So are you all ready? If you're ready, please type BIO in the chat box. Bring it on. BIO, bring it on. Thank you. Thank you. So who are you? Dr. Harry Monson, professor of anatomy at Illinois College of Medicine, says, what is our body made up of? So, well, the whole periodic table is there in the body. I remember it was a tough time as a biology student for me to remember the periodic table. I had made a poem, ha, he, li, be, ba, si, na, so, fa, nu, mag, al, si, you know. And here you'll be able to see that he calculated the cost price of the body. 90% of the body is made up of water, and there is bones, calcium, magnesium. And very amazingly enough, it was found out that the cost of the body is rupees 110. Now, is it surprising? Will any of your parents sell you in the market for rupees 110? Type Y in or N in the chat box. Are you worth rupees 110 or are you worth more? No, not at all. We are most valuable. Even millions of dollars won't sell us. So what is the actual cost price of the body? Thank you, Balraj, for that. No, the long no. Thank you so much. Definitely not. We are not 110 rupees. So what is the thing in the body which is different, which makes us most valuable and makes us more valuable than the Kohinoor diamond also, which is one of the most valuable things in this world? Now, what do you see here? Here you see a beauty queen, okay? I read when I was in the 10th class, one of the poems, you know, where the boys were very much affected. And that poem was, she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. And I don't know why my slide has got attached in the beauty queen. Let me just check out. Yeah. So I thought my computer got attracted to the beauty queen. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah. So now when the same person who is looking so attractive, when the soul leaves the body, are you attracted anymore? The nails, the hair, the beautiful nail polishes which my friends are putting, when the same nail falls in the food, when the same hair falls in the food, what difference? We don't like, hatao, dal ko hatao, ye nahi khana hai hame. What is the difference? When the nail was there, it's looking very smart, very fine. The hair is looking very curly, but when the same hair falls from the body and falls on your food, that is no more attractive. What is the difference? Is our body just full of chemicals, or is it something higher? The difference between this female, living and dead, is that the soul has left the body. As we already discussed in the past, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Nainam chinnanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Now all of you know a little bit of Sanskrit, or Sanskrit is disappearing from our schools now. Nainam chinnanti shastrani, you know, yeah, thank you, Gajendra. You can mark your questions in the link which is given, okay? The piercing weapons cannot pierce the soul. Nainam dahati pavakaha. Even the soul cannot be burnt by the fire, right? So what are the characteristics of the soul? He's not come into being. The soul is always there. The body is changing. He's unborn, eternal, ever existing and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain, right? So please understand that even if there is a twin pregnancy and Rohan and Mohan look the same, and both parents give the same dress to them, they are looking exactly same, speaking exactly same, but their feelings will be different. Their thought process will be different. Their identities will be different. Their likes and dislikes will be different because the soul is different. That's why even if a twin pregnancy Although external features are same, the soul is different. That's why the thought process is different. So what is the difference between the body and the soul? We will be seeing each and everything in a lot of detail. So the difference between body and soul is that body is matter and soul is spirit. Body is not conscious, but the soul is conscious, and the body is constantly changing. As the professor and head of the department in MD Radio Diagnosis and Imaging, we image the whole body through MRI, CT scan, ultrasound, and color Doppler. We can see each and every part of the body except the soul, because that is antimatter, that is antimatter. And you have to understand a very important thing, that every soul of the body is changing. Every cell, not the soul. Purposefully I said soul. Every cell of the body is changing. A nerve cell, a RBC has 120 days lifetime. A WBC has few days, and a platelets has few hours. Everything is constantly changing and constantly changing. Your nerve cell, muscle cell, bone cell, sperm cell, oval cell, everything is changing. But tell me one thing which is not changing. Type in the chat box the one thing what is not changing. You know, of course your name doesn't change, but that is your name. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Saundarya. Thank you, Chirag and Deepak Agarwal and Kevalya. Thank you for the wonderful answer. The answer is soul. The soul never changes, and the body is temporary, but the soul is eternal. The body is dead, but the soul is alive. So it is good news for all of you. Give yourself a big hand that no one can kill you. There is no need to commit suicide. No need to be depressed, because this is a fraction of a cycle in the eternal lifetime which we are living. Okay. Now coming to the very important point, when I look in the mirror and I say, this is my hand, ye mera haath hai. Now my question to all of you, this is my hand, but am I this hand? Write Y or N in the chat box. Am I this hand? Yes or no? No. Kya main ye haath hu? No, 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 no. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So now integrate, all of you are engineers. This is my body, but am I this body? No. So if I am not this body, I am the spirit soul or the Atma. There are two types of view in this world. The material viewpoint is that we are bodies and made up of matter, but the spiritual viewpoint is different. The material viewpoint is that we are no more than chemical bundles, but life is not just chemicals. We are not a bunch of chemicals. Everything is finished at the time of death, but in the Gita, in the Quran, in the Bible, in the Quran, the soul is called Ruh, and in the Bible, it is called the soul. And in Hinduism, it is called the Atma. The spark which you're seeing in each and every species in this slide is the eternal spark which is there in the region of the heart, and that is the spirit soul. The spirit soul is engaged in the material body. We do not die when the material body stops to function. And there are numerous medical proofs. Don't worry. I have myself seen it, experienced it. I have worked with the patient. Now let us compare a car with a person, right? The car has two headlights, we have two eyes, and both can see. We also are making sound with the vocal cords, and the car is making sound with the horns. Now there is energy, our fuel is there in form of the calories which we burn, and the car is getting energy from the petrol. And for the movements, there is the hands and the legs, and for the movement of the car, there is the four wheels, right? So there is a lot of similarity between the car and the body. But in the car, will the car move or budge an inch if the driver is not there? So who is the most important person in the car? Please write in the chat box, D for driver. Type out D. Who is the most important person in the car? D. Can a BMW move without a driver? Even a Maruti can't move, even a BMW doesn't move. The most important is not the body of the car. Most important person is the driver in the car. Because if a person who's driving a BMW and he doesn't know to drive, he will go and smash it out. Okay? But a person who is knowing to drive a Maruti even can do a better job. So the most important person in the car is the driver. And now all of you have to tell me who is the most important person in the body. D for driver, S for soul. Please type S. S in the chat box, S for soul. Thank you very much. So I want to put this point deep in your consciousness, that The car cannot budge without an inch. Similarly, the body cannot move without the soul. Just as a bird is trapped in the cage, the soul is trapped in the body made up of the 5 elements. Now, when I was a student like you 22 years back, and my mentor told me that the body is made up of the 5 elements or the Pancha Mahabhut, earth, water, fire, air, ether. I stood up in the class and said, no, sir, I am a medical student. This is not made up of earth, water, fire, and ether, Baba. It is made up of muscles, bones, nerves. I can show you in my Gray's Anatomy textbook. So my mentor laughed and said, you're right, Saurabh, but the basic elements, the whole periodic table is there. 90% of the body is made up of water. All the elements are there in the chemical form in the body, which is the earth. Where is fire inside the body? Ask a person who got corona and 104-degree fever. That is the heat in the body. Or ask a person who is suffering from peptic ulcer and he is having hurry, curry and worry. और उसके पेट जल रही है और उसको इनो लेने की जरूरत है. So that is the fire in the body. Well, there is a lot of gas in the body, you know. I don't need to go into the details of that. Okay, and ether is the empty space within the body. Thank you for the smileys. Thank you for the responses. Not knowing their real identity as the soul, people spend all their life in polishing the cage, pampering the body without feeding the soul. So as I showed you this example of this lady, she was so much attached to the cage क्योंकि उसको दुनिया को दिखाना था कि मेरे पास सोने का पिंजरा है. And every time, you know, she was polishing the gold in the cage, and one day the bird died. We may laugh at this example. The same thing we are doing. 8 hours out of 24 hours goes in sleep. Of course, we have to sleep. But along with that, how much time we give to the body, we have to do the basic necessities, taking a bath, dressing up, eating, feeding. But how much time are we giving to the soul? Huh? Can you type out in the chat box how much time you're giving to the soul? Yoga, meditation, deep thinking, self-worth, self-respect. 0. Thank you, Chirag, for that modest answer. So I'm not telling that kal se 24 घंटा देना करो. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step. At least start giving some time. Think, what is this life? What is this world? किस direction में मेरी life जा रही है? Huh? Thank you so much. Okay, I'm so amazed to see that Harsh and Ved and Ishika, one person is giving half an hour, 30 minutes. Great. Please give them a big hand. At least they are giving some time to the soul. And I'm going to take a dedication from you and thing from you in the end. And I'll again promise in all my seminars, those who are going to stick on till the end, I'm going to give a special gift in the end. Thank you very much. So now you have to see, coming to the second important topic about the 6 changes of every living body. Please remember, there are 6 changes and we'll be seeing this in details. Okay. So short music is going on and I'll explain to you the music. Now I'm reducing the volume a bit. So here a drama is going on, and on one side 3 people are watching the drama, and on the other side a video camera is watching the drama. Who will get emotions? The camera will get emotions or the people will get emotions, right? C for camera, P for people. After seeing the drama, of course it's P. The camera can do very precise recording. It will not even miss a single scene. But the people get emotions. When we see good thing, we feel nice. And sometimes when we see a Tom Cruise movie and when we are there in the movie, we get affected. And when we come out of the movie, our nose is like an anti-aircraft gun. चल बे कौन है कौन है कौन है? और जब जाके अपना बाइक को चालू करना पड़ता है ना, तब हमारी लैंडिंग हो जाती है. अरे ये मूवी नहीं है भैया, ये तो मेरी खटारा गाड़ी है, you know. So we identify ourselves. Because of the consciousness, we get emotions, but the camera doesn't get emotion. The camera has no experience, but the judge has the experience. There is no emotions on one side. There is elation, sorrow. There is no consciousness on one side. And the other side, there is a conscious effort. There is no judging, but there is able to judge. And why this is there? This is there because of the spirit soul. Now, one great Swamiji was sitting on one side under a tree, and an intelligent, smart, modern youth came to the Swami and asked a beautiful question. He said, Swamiji, I think our body is just a complex machine that gets worn out and crashes. Why should we bother about some soul and all these things? Once I was giving a class in one college, and after giving the class on soul, one boy asked me a funny question. You know what? If you want to know, type Q in the chat box, Q. So he asked me, sir, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है ये कौन से सोल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, जूता का सोल या कौन सा सोल? His mind was so, I'll say, gross that he was not able to appreciate. So Swami gave an answer. Does your car grow? Do you have a male and a female car? And when the two male and female come, a baby car is born. Okay. So humans function different. And all the different things are just because of the spirit soul. Coming to the next important question, what is the three major differences between a living body and a robot? A living body undergoes the 6 changes, which we'll be seeing shortly. A male and female living body can multiply, and a living body has consciousness. And these are the 3 things which make it different from the others. Every living body, let it be a plant, let it be an insect, let it be a reptile, all the 8.4 million species, they have to undergo these 6 changes. Birth, growth, third is maintenance, fourth is production of the byproducts, fifth is dwindling, and sixth is death. Any living entity in this whole world must undergo these 6 changes according to the Bhagavad Gita. No one can get free from this. And here you see, what do you see in the picture? A small child is born, he's become young, he's taking a ball, then he grows up, then he's working, and slowly life fades away and he goes down. Now, please look at this slide very, very attentively, and I'll explain you the slide with my cursor, okay? What we are able to see outside, the hands, the face, and all this is made up of the 5 elements, namely the earth, water, fire, air, and ether. This is the gross body or the sthula sharira, right? But inside the gross body, you are able to see this blue line. This is the subtle body. And the subtle body is the smuksh. Yeah, correct. Emotions, Vaishnavi. Thank you for that. Yeah. Subtle body is the sukshma sharir. Man, buddhi, ahankar. Mind, intelligence, and the ego. And most inside is the subtle body. And this is full of Sat, Chit, and Anand, Satchidananda. So I will revise it for you. The body has 3 layers. What we are able to see is the gross body. All the muscles and bones are made up of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. The sukshma body is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego, man, buddhi, ahankar. And the real person whom you are, Atma, is the soul made up of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Now, my question to all of you in the chat box, I want to see whether you are with me. Okay. So I am asking you a question. What is the difference between brain and mind? Man or dimag mein kya antar hai? Right? B belongs to gross body or subtle body. B belongs to G or S. Type G for gross body and S for subtle body. What does the brain belong to? Is brain gross body? Thank you. All of you are understanding very nicely. I am elated because mind is subtle body, but the brain is gross body. When the skull cavity is open, the 150-gram thing which come out, that is the gross body. Okay? But you can be sitting here, but your mind could be in your girlfriend's room. Ki wo kya kar rahi hai abhi? So you are not in the lecture, you are with your girlfriend. So the sukshma sharir, only you know about it. Thank you so much for the wonderful understanding. All of you are scientists. You know, I am also a scientist. As I told you in the last seminar, the difference between spirituality and science is that spirituality in this world answers the why of things. And science in this world answers the how of things. Why does a person die? Mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. How does a person die? Answered in medical science, diabetes, blood pressure. And now I will be coming to the most important story, because all of you are engineers and I'm a doctor, and we will see the scientific proof of the soul's existence. Once I was in the intensive cardiac care unit of a multi-speciality hospital, and the patient passed away, and the nurse immediately said, "Chala, chala, hatao, isko hatao. Chal basi hai. She has gone." So who has gone? My question is very simple. Who has gone? The body is there. But now the body has no value. Okay? So please type who has gone in the chat box. Is it the soul? Thank you so much. Who has passed away? The body is still there. So by common sense, we know that actually the soul has passed away. So the first thing is the common sense. Second important thing is the consciousness, which we already discussed. Okay, जब कोई आपको एक गुलाब का फूल देता है प्रेम से, love at first sight, गुलाब देख के you remember the person who gave the gulab. Okay, because with that gulab we remember Valentine's Day, I love you. It's not gulab, but it's a lot beyond. Okay, so it says in CCD, you know, a lot can happen over the coffee. Okay, so the thing is, the consciousness means our awareness, our thinking and feeling and willing. But a camera can only see red light. But a camera can only see a flower, but that flower can show you a lot more. Next important thing, which I will tell you many times I have experienced in the ICU, is NDE and OBE. NDE is near-death experience and OBE is outer-body experience. 11 to 14% of the average American population, mentally, physically healthy, also have had OBEs. So I will tell you, before an operation, we give anesthesia to the patient. How many of you know about anesthesia? Type A in the chat box, anesthesia. Okay, thank you so much. So anesthesia means the bodily functions come to a bare minimum. And many times the patient has told me that, sir, when the operation was going on, I could see the whole operation. Sir, I could see the whole operation. Now, how is it possible? Answer is very simple, my dear friend. No need to get bogged up. एक छोटा बच्चा प्रेप क्लास में क्या बोलता है? We see with our eyes. We hear with our ears. My dear friends, your eye doesn't see and the ear doesn't hear. Just like a spectacle doesn't see, it only passes the light. Now, speaking a little bit of medical science, light travels by rectilinear propagation. It comes and touches the pupil, the aqueous humor, the crystalline lens, the vitreous humor. Then through the fovea centralis, it goes in the retina, through the opposite side of the brain to the calcarine sulcus. Sorry, you all are engineers, kuch zyada medical ho gaya. But the image is formed in the brain, but who sees? Can you type in the chat box, who sees the image? Please type in the chat box. Does the eye see? Does the chashma see? Does the retina see? Does the brain see? And thank you, Prasad, for that lovely answer. The soul sees. So, jab anesthesia diya jata hai, many times the soul comes out of the body, because that time the body is uninhabitable and the soul can see the whole operation from top. Similarly, sometimes near death, the soul is hovering near the body. How many of you have seen a chicken being cut? Please type Y in the chat box. How many of you have seen a chicken being cut? Why? And look very carefully. If you've seen a goat or a chicken being cut, as soon as it is cut, for some time, the chicken wings go like flap, 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 and the body of the goat goes this way. Can anyone tell me why? Because the soul is attached to the body, and the soul is going like this, and then zoop, it goes out. Okay? Till the point the soul is going back and forth, the wings are flapping. Till the point the soul is going back and forth, the hands and legs of the four-limbed animal is flapping, and when the soul goes out, it falls dead. Coming to the near-death experience, enough research is done in NDA with impeccable scientific credentials. You can just type it out in the Google, and the Google is full of it. Dr. Michael Sabom, cardiologist and professor, Emory University School. Research on the eternal soul, a 30-year study by surgeon Dr. Bigelow. Okay, and these, please take a screenshot of this slide. All of you are free to take, there is no copyright, you can take the screenshots. And these are so many books published in the market on near-death experience, out-of-body experience, reincarnations, on the proof of soul. Thank you. Yeah, silver cord is an amazing thing. You know, maybe if we get time, we will discuss in the end. Thank you, Shreya, for that. Now I will share some very amazing things. Reincarnation research, past life memories. Ian Stevenson, professor of psychology at the University of Virginia, has extensively investigated so many cases of spontaneous reincarnation memories. All the links are given. You can take the screenshot and please find it out. Yeah. So reincarnation research of all these different books, this is not a one-time study. It's a research by international scholars that have found out so many past life experiences. The phobias, all of you know, when I was in the hostel, एक बार एक छोटे student को उठा के छिपकली रख दिया उसके सामने, and he was like, ah! Huh? Because all of you know that we have different phobias. Sometimes for cockroach, sometimes for lizard, sometimes for height, sometimes for water. How many of you have some phobias? Please type Y in the chat box. यहाँ बताने का जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, so just see how many of your friends have phobias. Okay, so phobias are nothing but past life memories. Okay, these past life memories are recorded by Encyclopedia Britannica. These are some past life memories, and I will be showing you some interesting cases in the end, if time permits, because it's a race with time, and this is a very important session today. Now, reincarnation research, differences in temperament of twins proves the soul. I have already covered this, that soul, two souls are there. Also, there is a lot of research on a very amazing World War II fighter pilot. And remind me that I'm going to show this video in the end to all of you. Similarly, reincarnation research and belief on this are told by important scientists in the world and important philosophers like Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Socrates. And you can read it for yourself that these are the different proofs, and these great philosophers also mention about the spirit of reincarnation. This is an amazing case study by Dr. Evan Stevenson about Shukla Gupta from India, who remember her past life. Shukla was a little more than 5 years, and she was precisely remembering her past life, which village, where she was, what happened. Of course, I'll not be going into the details, right? And exactly Shukla went there, the parents took her there, and they were stunned to see. Yeah, Jayesh, I am seeing your raised hand, and we will be taking the questions in the end. Thank you. Shukla recognized some very amazing things. She recognized her previous lifetime house, her mother-in-law, brother-in-law, husband, daughter, and even the name of the previous husband she could recognize. Can you believe this? Yeah. We'll be seeing this in details, even the nickname as well as the real names she was remembering. Coming to the next important topic, there is internal reincarnation. All of us are changing. Just like the fan moves, if you switch on, then you can see the separate blades. If we had a very sensitive camera, we could see ourselves moving if the least count of that camera was very small. Yeah, Dalai Lama, right? So coming to the next topic, mechanism of reincarnation. And now we'll be seeing in details how it works. Please understand, my friends, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Antakale cha mameva smaranamuktva kalevaram. Antakal. Antakal means Bhagavad Gita. Everything is very correlated. Science and spirituality go hand in hand. The soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken into another womb by the quality of desires. Desires are stored in the Sukshma Sharir or the mind. Okay? And what is the balance? As the person puts on new dresses, giving up old and useless ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Bhagavad Gita, you can remember very easily, 2.22, chapter 2, 22nd verse. Okay? On what basis? How many of you would like to know ki after death, on what basis you would get the next body? Please type BIO, bring it on. BIO, bring it on in the chat box. Is it not a very important question to know? That how you will come to know that what body your soul will get? So there is a beautiful shloka from Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejate antakalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavita. And a beautiful translation is, whatever state of being a person remembers when he quits, O son of Kunti, that state he shall remain, that state he shall attain without fail. And coming to the very important answer of the BIO is, please take a screenshot of this slide, that two things are balanced. There is a taraju and there is a balance. Taraju ke ek side mein are desires and taraju ke dusre side mein is your karma. The karma, where the desire and the karma balancing is done, and based on your desires and based on your good and bad karma, you get the next body. When one ignores God's laws and engages in sinful activities with an impure mind, he glides down to the animal species. And it is well said in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, नेहा विक्रम नाशोस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पम अपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भया. What is the greatest danger? When we don't understand how to live life, we know how to operate a mobile, we know how to operate a module, a washing machine, but we don't know to operate the most important thing, that's life. Okay, so how do we do that? And when a person engages in the sinful activities, and then his body slowly changes. Many times you will be stunned to know that some old person, when he goes taking out his dog, you have seen the bulldogs, how they look with flappy this, and that person also almost looks like that, you know, क्योंकि उसके बारे में सोचते सोचते his chetna has also become like a dog, you know. So it happens many times, and let us see how it happens. In the human form of life, we have got developed intelligence to discriminate and lead responsible lives. I discussed in the last lesson, ahara, nidra, bhay, methun, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are the four common things between animals and humans, but the only thing which makes him different is that humans can ask the question, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, who am I? Who is God? What is this life? I'm trying to be happy in this world. Why am I unhappy? Why my girlfriend always goes away? Why my friends always go away? Why I'm not able to please my parents? Why my teachers are not taking care? Why do I feel like committing suicide? Even after having everything in life, why I am depressed? My dear friends, if you want to know, just hang on and you'll be able to know what is the reason for this. Okay? Now we have to understand the 4 pillars of sinful life. Currently, because I was from a Bengali family and I used to take so much non-veg, but as I started practicing spirituality, some subtle changes came on in my body and I could appreciate the higher values of life. So the 4 sinful pillars are: number 1, meat eating. And I will be scientifically telling you about this. Second is intoxication, And third is gambling. There is a saying which says, Tash daba pasha teen sarvanasha. Sarvanash hota hai for a person who gives in to gambling. And fourth is illicit sex. Sex not according to the regulative principles. Then we downgrade to the lower species. We will be taking up questions in the end, but I have to rush through the slides. So when you raise your consciousness, sometimes boys come to me. I'm in a lot of counseling sessions in different medical colleges, and the doctors want to commit suicide, and they come to me and say they don't want to live a life. They say problems itne bade hai sir, we can't. When you are like an ant, the multi-story buildings look very big, but if you board a helicopter and go up and up, the same huge buildings will become small and small and small. So actually the building doesn't matter, the problem doesn't matter. It matters that how you perceive the problem. And I will be discussing this attitude in the end. So we need to live a pure life of austerity, sacrifice, self-control, and love for God. Okay? When we lead a life of knowledge, a pure life, scriptures teach us what God wants us to do. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. We need to understand that each and every verse in the Gita has a deep scientific meaning. I have done 22 years of research along with my medical science and Gita, and I found so many similarities, So when we get touch in with our spirit soul, when we realize the soul, now I want to ask you a very important question, and I'm asking you a multiple choice question, and you have to write answer as 1, 2 or 3. There are 3 choices. जिंदगी में सबसे important चीज क्या होता है? पहला, भगवान को मानना, दूसरा, भगवान को जानना, और तीसरा, भगवान को समझना. पहला, मानना. Oh my God, the answers are so fast. I am exhilarated. Before I'm finishing the question, the answers are just flying. Thank you so much. All of you give yourselves a big hand. Thank you. Well, Shivani, there is Shivam. Someone has written 4. There is no 4. That's okay. Right? So, भगवान को मानते हैं, अच्छी बात है. जस्ट बिकॉज आपके पापा मानते हैं, मानना अच्छी बात है, लेकिन जानिए, अगर आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड है, बॉयफ्रेंड है, क्या सिर्फ मान के छोड़ देंगे, या जानने की चेष्टा करेंगे, या समझने की कोशिश करेंगे, है ना? इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी अंडरस्टैंड साइंटिफिकली व्हाट इज गॉड. We have to understand, very important, as I told you, A, B, C, and D. Association with saintly people, as I already told you in the last. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kaye Labha Matra Sadhu Sange Sarva Siddhi Hoye. Now today we are having a bad idea about these so-called sadhus, okay? Because har jagah pe galat dikh raha hai, you know. So I told you, in Kali Yuga, it is like जैसा गुरु वैसा चेला हो नरक में ठेलम ठेला. Okay, so you are intelligent people. Okay, don't believe anyone blindly. First listen, then practice, hang around, see, and see the truth for yourself. You know, when initially I would come to these programs, thank you for the smileys and laughters, Balraj and Shashank, thank you so much. So don't trust anyone blindly. See what quality of life they are leading. Listen to what they're saying. Use your logic. Check it out. Don't believe anyone blindly. And then God will give you realization from within. As Krishna is telling in the 10th chapter, 10th shloka, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. All this knowledge which we gain, the physics, the chemistry, the biology, this knowledge comes from outside inside. This comes from outside in, right? Like we have to hear, we have to see, we have to understand, but spiritual knowledge goes from inside out. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give him the intelligence from within by which he will come to me. Once I was in a class in IIT, and one IITian stood up and he challenged me. He stood up and said, Sir, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रहे हैं, मेरे क्वेश्चन का आंसर देंगे क्या? So I told him, BIO, bring it on, bring it on. And he said, Sir, क्या आपने भगवान को देखा है जो बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रहे हैं? Very interesting question. How many of you are finding it interesting? Type I in the chat box. Okay? Type I in the chat box. बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर रहे हैं, क्या आपने देखा है? He was a very smart topper from IIT. So I gave him a good question answer. I said, well, my dear friend, what is the nearest object to your eyes? So he was telling, the nearest object to my eyes are the, benches over here. I told, more near, और पास में जाओ. तो बोले, इससे पास में क्या है सर? मैंने बोला, eyelashes. Eyelashes are the nearest object to your eyes. Can you see the eyelashes? He told, क्या बात कर रहे सर? Eyelashes कैसे देख सकते हैं? मैंने बोला, तुमसे सबसे दूर की चीज क्या है? तो बोला, सर वो तो infinity है. मैंने बोला, क्या infinity को देख सकते हो? बोले, सर क्या बातें कर रहे हैं, मजाक कर रहे हैं क्या? मैंने बोला, चलो यार, पास का छोड़ो, दूर का छोड़ो, बीच का देखते हैं. हवा चल रही है, क्या हवा को देख पा रहे हो? He told, नहीं देख पा रहे हैं. हवा होता है यार? हाँ सर होता है. तो कैसे पता हवा होता है? हवा को फील करते हैं सर. मैंने बोला, भगवान को हम भी फील करते हैं. You can feel God. There are many things which may not be able to see. And Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita one beautiful shloka, which Krishna is telling. The translation is, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvachamai pashyati. One who sees me in everything and sees everything in me, neither am I lost to him, nor ever he is lost to me. Well, if you want to see Narendra Modi, you can't tell, Aja yaar, kyun nahi aa raha mere ghar pe? You have to have qualification to see the Prime Minister. Arey Baba, he is the Ananta Koti Brahman Nayak. What is your qualification? And if you increase the qualification, thank you for the smileys, thank you for those fires, thank you for those thumbs up. I'm liking it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some jokes should also be there. I don't want to make this a very serious stuff, Okay. So that's about association. So we need to know that we can either elevate ourselves or we can glide ourselves down. Okay. So the IITian was very happy after my answer and he came and thanked me in the end. And of course I told him, tension mat lo, maine bhi ye sab question puche the 22 saal pehle. Okay. So when you are following God, you have to have the courage and the confidence to answer all the questions. And for having the knowledge, you have to read stuff. And that's why you see my library, 5,000 books, I have read the stuff for the last 22 years. And that gives me the confidence. Thank you so much. Even for a small engineering, you need to study 4 years. For a BE, then ME, then MSc, then PhD. And if you go for a MS, how many years we have to dedicate? This is the top stuff. Boss, you need to give time. Okay? Anything which you don't give time, खाना बनाते बनाते भी ध्यान नहीं रहेगा, खाने में नमक ज्यादा हो जाएगा. गर्लफ्रेंड भी रखा है, गर्लफ्रेंड पे ध्यान नहीं तो छोड़ के भाग जाएगी. हाँ? Whatever you require, you need to give time. Spirituality, if you take up, you need to give time. You need to give energy, and then the results will come. Okay? Now, coming to the next difference between soul and God. So, we have to understand now, because the subject matter from here goes into a higher level, which we'll be seeing in the further slides. At this juncture, I would like to stop my slide sharing and show you some very interesting videos. Enough of slides. I have 10 minutes to go, and I will show you some very interesting videos. How many of you would like to see some soul-stirring videos? Please type we in the chat box. We. Thank you. So many V's coming up. So I am stopping the slide sharing now, and I will be showing you some videos. Okay? Now, I will be going to my screen once again, and I will be sharing the videos. How many of you are able to see my screen? Please type Y in the chat box. Thank you. And I'm just about to start the video. Just give me some time. So there are 2 videos which I'm going to show. Please be very attentive. All of you take a deep breath. Please take a deep breath. Leave it. Take a deep breath. Leave it. Calm down your mind and watch the video very, very attentively. So ready? And I'm going to show you the video. I'm again repeating it purposefully. So thank you very much. How many of you liked the video? Please type L in the chat box. L for like. And I'm going to show you. Thank you. So many L's coming up. And now I'm again going to show you an amazing actual live video. How many of you would like to see a video of the pilot, which I showed in the session? Please type P in the chat box. P in the chat box. Pilot, fighter pilot. Anyway, China and India about to get on, and you know the TikTok is disappearing and the people are becoming very frantic because they have nothing else to do than making TikTok videos. But life is not going to TikTok. Once I was in a train and one Chinia Badam wala was selling Chinia Badam, time pass. So one mentor was sitting next to me and he told, देखो boss, अभी वो time pass कर रहा है, इसके बाद time उसको pass कर देगा. So whether you want to do time pass or you want time to pass you, that is the choice of yours. And now I'm going to show you the next video. Thank you for those smileys. Thank you so much. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Please pay attention.
They have the same name and boyish good looks. James M. Houston, raised in the Midwest, James M. Leininger, a young boy from the bayou.
There's something in the eyes. It's undeniable.
That's not all they share.
Somehow James Houston's spirit has affected my son, either through reincarnation. I don't know how it happened.
I can read the Japanese easiest part.
Initially, what caught my attention was James's extreme fascination with airplanes.
And every night he slept with his G.I. Joe action figures, which he named.
I took him to the Kavanaugh Flight Museum.
Here's home video. While the other kids casually look at the plane, 2-year-old James seems to inspect it. Watch as he checks the underbelly, then climbs inside, donning the headset.
I said, "Oh, look, there's a bomb on the bottom." He said, "That's not a bomb, that's a drop tank."
Bouncing about in the cockpit, James was flying high. That night, their world would change forever.
He started having the nightmares, and that was my first indication that there was something wrong. It was a panic-stricken, terrorized screaming.
Over and over again, James had the same terrible nightmare, 4 to 5 times a week. He was too young to explain the dream, but he could draw.
Bombing ships, you see men parachuting. There's another one where planes are dropping bombs.
Help me! He would just be crying. He'd say, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out." He laid on his back and kicked up at the ceiling, and he goes, "Mama, the little man's going like this." And he laid on his back and kicked his feet up. The little man's going, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh," can't get out. And I said, "Well, who's the little man, baby?" And he goes, "Me." I thought Bruce and I were just going to faint.
They questioned, what kind of plane?
Corsair.
"Why did your airplane crash?
My plane was shot down.
Who shot your plane?"
He looked at me like I was a village idiot. He said,
"The Japanese." And I kept thinking, where's he getting this? I was a stay-at-home mom, so I know that there wasn't anything that he was being exposed to.
Not exposed to in this life, but perhaps, just maybe, somebody else was. Decades earlier, James Houston grew up with the same insatiable fascination with airplanes. He became a naval fighter pilot and fought in World War II. March 3rd, 1945, during a mission near Iwo Jima, he took a direct hit. At age 21, was declared missing and presumed dead.
"Where did he take off? From a boat?"
"Do you remember the name of your boat?" He said, "Natoma."
Found several thousand hits on the word Natoma.
The USS Natoma Bay launched into battle, headed for Iwo Jima in the fight for Leyte Gulf.
It's the biggest naval battle in the history of the world.
Leo Pyatt served on the ship. From his home in Ohio, he organizes the Natoma Bay reunions. That's how Bruce found him.
I wanted to disprove it.
He asked a few questions about, did I know some of the people? "Oh yeah, I remember those people." And so he got very quiet.
It was all real. The people and places James described actually existed. And remember those G.I. Joe dolls that James named? Turns out 3 men with the same names, first and last, served on the Natoma and were killed in action. James said they greeted him in heaven after his crash.
I'd always asked him, "Do you remember what your name was?" And he always said James. But his name is James.
Yes, there was a Jim Houston, a rather large shell, just hit him in the engine, and it burst into flames and went down.
They showed Leo the drawings.
He was right on the nose. I'm sure, in my mind, that he was there.
Leo invited James, now 3, to the reunion. James recognized several pilots, even called them by name.
"You're Bob Greenwald." I'm serious.
He never met Bob Greenwald.
No, he'd never met him before.
And someone else was invited. James Houston's sister, Anne.
And he goes, "It's not Anne, it's Annie. She wasn't my oldest sister. I had an older sister than that." And I said, "You did? Who was that?" And he goes, "Ruth. I mean Ruth."
Annie is what they called me when I was little. Knowing my name and my sister's name, things that my brother did when he was a kid, it's too amazing to describe how he would feel that way, but he does. He considers me his sister.
But does she consider James her brother?
I think it's probably a reincarnation of my brother.
Anne was so touched, she gave James items from her brother's final effects.
The little George Washington bust had been on my brother's desk all through school.
I said, where's the statue? He said, I put it on my desk.
As James gets older, his memories of James Houston and the nightmares are beginning to fade, but his knowledge of airplanes and his passion for flying continues to soar.
The Corsair was my favorite fighter. The Corsair was fast. Agility was very good.
Why him?
James has never said anything about why he's here.
One of God's unexplained mysteries.
Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
So thank you all very much for watching. How many of you understood this video? Please type you in the chat box. You for understood. You. I need yous. Okay? Lovely, lovely. So there is a saying, Hath Kangan ko arsi kya? I don't have to give an explanation to this video. Thank you so much. I have an intelligent crowd sitting here. Okay? 80%. Well, Chiranjeev, thank you. And now I have officially finished the session. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.